Benetti, and this is the series Helpful Houseplant Hints. And today the houseplant we're going to be giving you hints on is the spider plant. Spider plants are awesome because they are so hard to kill, and I'm going to give you 5 different tips for growing a spider plant. The first one is this plant needs good drainage. If you have a spider plant in a pot or in soil like that, remove it. It must drain freely. So you would never repot a spider plant using soil from outdoors. You always have to have potting soil. Now, watering a spider plant is a little bit, the hint here is they don't like tap water or fluorinated water. So the tip is I just fill like maybe 2 cups of water and I let it sit out for 24 hours. That way, all the fluoride, high concentration of salts will evaporate so that when you do water the plant, you can see that it is going to, you should see the water. How much water? Water until you see the water flowing from the bottom of the pot. Okay, so now since the water is flowing from the bottom of the pot, I'll know next time I need a little less than 2 cups of water. Do not overwater this plant. Spider plants only need water sometimes once every 2 weeks. If you go away for even 4 weeks and you come home and your spider plant is all limp, water well, it should be just fine. Just don't overwater. I like to stick my finger deep down into the soil and don't water until that soil is dry to the touch. Now, if you have been watering with tap water and you are noticing brown tips like this on your spider plant, that is just a result of either too much fluoride in the water, and remember letting the water sit out, or using distilled water or water that's free of all chemicals. We'll avoid that, but you can snip those off if you want to, and that'll make the plant look just as good as new. The whole reason that spider plants are so popular and so unkillable is because you don't have to water them constantly. But tip number 2, spider plants do not need full sun. In fact, these leaves will burn if you have them right next to a window and sun shines through the window and hits the plant. Spider plants are perfectly happy if they are in the average living room or office setting where there is light, indirect light from a bright window, but they're not getting hit by the direct rays of the sun. So in the wild, this plant will be growing in a jungle, so it does great in the shade. So tip number 3, how about repotting and propagating and getting new plants? Well, the whole reason that this wonderful plant is called a spider plant is because of these little shoots that come off, these little shoots that have babies like spiders dropping from a plant, and these are going to bloom usually in the spring. And then once they bloom, they are going to either form roots or they can form seeds even. So if you want more plants, the easy way is simply set a glass of water next to your spider plant and let the baby sit in the water. So it's got just the lower part in the water and it'll grow roots. Or you can take the baby, snip it off, and plant it into potting soil to make a new plant. Don't snip off this baby until you see roots already forming. That's the sign that the baby is ready to be repotted. You can also make new spider plants when the plant gets really, really pot-bound. Pot-bound means that the roots are filling the pot so much that you can see the roots coming up on the sides. Maybe the pot will crack. You'll see the roots coming out from the bottom. I mean, it's really got a lot of roots. That means the plant is pot-bound. You can remove the whole plant, and then you can just pull it apart, divide it up, and have a lot more baby plants. Okay, so now, when to fertilize? Well, spider plants don't need a lot of fertilizer. The only time I would feed is in the spring when you see new growth. And any fertilizer that you use, I like to use a slow release plant food like Osmocote. Follow the recommendations on the back and only use half as much fertilizer as it says for outdoor plants. So you don't want to over-fertilize this plant because it's a foliage plant. And fertilize in the spring when it's actively growing. Don't be fertilizing in the winter when the days are shorter, because the plant is trying to have a little rest. Now, this plant gives back so much to you, so here is our next and final tip. This is a plant that cleans the air. It actually removes pollutants from the air. So it's a great plant. They have even used it in hospital settings because it helps remove chemicals and pollutants from the air. But you want to pamper this plant, wash these leaves. Yep, what I like to do maybe once a month or so is just go ahead and water on a tray like this, get these leaves wet. And what kind of water am I using? Remember, it's water that is either distilled or set out for 24 hours, so it's not high in salts. And then once you've gotten the leaves wet, this adds humidity. You can either wipe them with a soft cloth that'll keep it free of pests, especially spider mites, which like spider plants, and that'll keep your plant happy and healthy, and you will be very pleased with this hard-working, hard-to-kill, and spider plant that cleans the air. It's been Mary Ann Bonetti with easy answers for great gardens and hints for healthy houseplants.